new audio setup, so hopefully you don't hear any echo at this point. We have some soundproofing you may see in the corners on camera, but off camera it's all set up. Let's do some Tai Chi. Allow your feet to touch. Bring your head top to the highest point, pushing it up there with your chin tucked. Relax your shoulders, relax your tailbone. Take a deep breath and bring your hands together in the center. Connect the tongue to the upper palate, lift the base of the torso, and activate your toes inside of your shoes. Take another long, deep breath. Focus your vision all the way to the horizon and relax. Let's start with some breathing. So just a basic Qigong, but make it a stretch, reaching. And while you're doing this, we can turn it into a meditation. So while you're breathing, lifting the base of the torso, keeping the tongue connected to the roof of the mouth, I want you to imagine your day. You can just focus right now on the present and be entirely internal inside your body. Feel everything that's happening in your feet, your legs, your torso, and your arms and your head. You can imagine our class, all of the things that you're working on with Tai Chi, what you might learn. You can imagine your day moving forward. Saturday. You can imagine your weekend. Check to see that you have at least a half smile. Otherwise, your imagination of those things may become negative. Reach all the way out to the sides. Go at your own pace. Breathe as you like. Do 2 more if you're going slow, 3 more if you're going faster. And make them the most relaxed breaths of the week so far. When you finish, bring your feet back to the center. Bring your hands back to the center and then calibrate. Pull the head top up. Tuck your chin, open the vision, open the face. Corners of the mouth are activated. Center is supporting. Tailbone is hiding. Lifting the inside while we're breathing, gripping the feet. Let's do a little bit of stretching, and then today we're going to do Tai Chi, and we'll practice some stuff transitioning from the end of the first section. I think we have covered Wu Feng Sabi, so we'll talk about the transition and then work on some stuff. Last week we did diagonal flying, kneel to bottom of the sea, that section. So let's stretch a little bit. Take your right hand, grab your left ear, and then this exercise is about your center line. So the arms are sort of a secondary, periphery. So pull that head top up. Push up and make it line up over your center line. Breathe, stretch, and then when you're ready, change. Go on your own. So keep the focus on the center line. So pull up, sink your tailbone, and then twist through the center. Go at your own pace. Stretch as much as or as little as you like. But on this, push up, push down, twist around the center, reach, pull the elbow back and away. And when you're ready, change. Come back to the center. Relax. Let's do another Qigong. While we do this one, try to keep your shoulders locked in place. We're going to start by circling and then pressing forward. And then the other hand returns. This hand comes up, pressing forward. Take one hand, press. So imagine you have a hat and you like to bring your palm all the way around the brim of the hat and then press directly to the center. Breathing. Make it a stretch, so try to keep your shoulders locked but expanding that circle, and then change. So it's the same here. Keep your shoulder down and press. So try to keep everything relaxed. Press. If you have pain, imagine you have a little hat, like a little clown hat that just sits on top, right? And you just want to go around that one. But if you feel good and you like to stretch your arms, keep the shoulders relaxed, and you can imagine like you have a cowboy hat or one of those cartoon foam hats, right? Reach all the way around the brim to your level of comfort. I'm not counting, so balance it out. And when you finish, come back to the center. So for my stretching, I like to work top to bottom. Let's do something a little bit different before we continue going down. We're going to return to Tai Chi harmony and calibrate the best that we can. Why don't we do Tai Chi harmony like this? I mean, we could get into that position, right? But when if you're breathing and your arms and shoulders are relaxed, if you watch my body, so we can start making less and less effort to have a successful activity. The purpose of Tai Chi is to win, to come out successful, to come out with our self-defense intact. So we want to become better at being able to accomplish the task with as little effort as possible. Okay, now we're in Tai Chi harmony. Straighten your center line and turning. We're going to use this as a whole body stretch. So try to relax your body while you twist. Imagine that your mind is somewhere else and that you can turn your body like a towel or a cloth or a rag so that the inside of your body is relaxed. You can see yourself from somewhere else if it helps you to relax. Don't twist your knees. See if you can hit the apex of your breathing when you reach the maximum of your stretch. If you're unbalanced in the number of times you've turned, we're going to finish. So, turn back to the center when you're done. Take a deep breath, relax. Working our way down next, we're going to turn some at the waist. Take a comfortable stance. Turn around the center. Pull the head top up, sink the tailbone down. Check to see that you have a very serious expression while you do this one as well. And then we're going to change. So on this one, sink as the power is going up, make the standing foot like an anchor. Number 3. And number 4. Come back to the center. Take a deep breath. We're going to fold forward. So push your tailbone back and away. Relax your shoulders and your spine. Let everything hang loose. Try to point your tailbone vertically towards the ceiling, and release your head and neck. Relax your head and neck. Take a deep breath while you're upside down, and when you're ready, grip your toes and unroll. Breathing deep all the way up, stretch, turn it into a vertical stretch this way, and relax. We're going to do one more of those. Take a comfortable stance, grip the ground, fold in half. Keep your toes activated. Remember to breathe while you're upside down. When you're ready, grip the toes, use your abs, relax your back, inflate all the way. Full deep breath, stretch, and relax. Let's turn a few hip circles. Check to make sure you don't have a very angry look while you turn hip circles. Change directions if you haven't already. And let's do a little bit more leg stretching. By the way, the square width step that we use, just to review, I use for this, so I go shoulder width wide here, and be on the outside of that. And then the same length, deep, shoulder width deep. That's my square. Something like this. So I can use this same square when I do my stretching, right? This same square shape to make sure that I have a good base. So stretching the legs, that's what we're going to do. If you're not already, take a square step. Fold this inside hip. Reach, keep your back. Either make your head top straight or push your chin forward. And then when you're ready, breathing, push forward. And change the other side, shoulder width wide, shoulder width deep. Fold the inside hip, push the tailbone back and away. Reach. Remember to breathe. Check to see what type of expression you have. When you're ready, grip the ground, push forward. Let's do one more of those on each side. Fold the inside of the hip, keep the back straight. Use your leg or an object for balance. And then when you're ready, reach. And then push forward on your own. And do the other side on your own. Straighten your back. Remember to breathe. Before we continue, anyone have questions, thoughts, comments, something that you're working on in your own practice, question you've come up with since last week? I'm using this Q&A time to enjoy my tea. Okay, great. No questions. Let's do Tai Chi. Let's do the first section and second section up to Gao Tan Ma. We've been sort of covering up to that point, and we'll focus on the sort of beginning of the second section. So pick a space where you can have the space to do the form, and then go back to calibration. So grip your feet, bring your hands together in the center, and do all the things that you need to do to calibrate. So instead of me saying pull your head top, tuck your chin, just as one activity, expand yourself and relax yourself into Tai Chi harmony. And then when you're ready, we're going to open shoulder width wide. Tai Chi, Qi Shi, the start of Tai Chi. Commencement, sometimes referred to as happy bear. And then once the movement starts, it doesn't stop until the end. Grasp the sparrow's tail, right. Square step, forward, ward off. Grasp the sparrow's tail, left. Square step, forward, ward off. Turning 90 degrees, this is roll back. Turning 90 degrees back to the north, this is press. Push. Look left. Glance right. Double push. Rock step, turning 90 degrees. This is horizontal. Split hands. The out shows hook. Square step forward. Turn the waist. Single whip. Turning back to the north, 90 degrees. This is T-so. Square step. Roll up. Turn 90 degrees. This is crane. Opening the wings. Play the peepaw. Brush knee. Press directly to the center. Square step. Back. Crane. Displaying the wings. Play the peepaw. Brush knee. Press. Brush knee. C-step. Press. Brush knee. C-step. Press. Embrace the moon. Shift back. Square step. Forward. Punch. Ban Lan Shui. Corner. Parry. Punch. Ban Lan Shui. Corner. Parry. Punch. One more. Move. Block. Right to the center. And then Rufeng. Keep your arms round. Press. Press. We're going to turn 90 degrees to the north. This is embrace tiger. Return to mountain. Bring your right foot to your left. The left foot forms a T. The right foot steps to the square facing 180. Palm press to the center. Breathe deep to roll back. Join the palms together. Press. Push. Look left. Glance right. Double push. Horizontal. Split. Hook. Turn back to look at the moon. Left side, right side. Spear fist, moon is up. Repulse the monkey. 1. Repulse the monkey. 2. Repulse the monkey. Number 3. Opening to the side. This is Sherfei, diagonal flying. Hai Di Zhang is kneel at the bottom of the seat. Keep your back straight. San Tong Bei. Fan through back. Turning, block, punch, kick. Square step. Lan is parry. Shui is punch. Keep your head top up, sink your tailbone. This is Di Bu Hua. Change step, return to roll back. Press. Push. Left. Glance right. Double press. Horizontal split hands connects to hook. Stepping parallel, this is a side whip, Han Dan Bian. And from here we have cloud hands. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, hook, corner whip. And then from here, bring your right foot to your left, bring your hands together in the center. Take a deep breath. Okay, so that took us about 10 minutes. Just about. So let's start with the transition. I feel like in recent weeks, months, we have talked about the meaning for Rufeng Sabi, and last week in the application class, we had kind of talked about how to get into and out of that with a second person. And so let's start working on the transition from the first section to the second section. And the name for that posture, after we do Return Tiger to Mountain. By the way, we'll, after Rufeng Sabi, we have a press. Embrace Tiger, Return to Mountain. We can talk about that from a practical standpoint, but without another person for martial art, that's difficult to do. The whole purpose of that posture, when we return Tiger to Mountain, is we're using the legs. This has actually become very popular in Western culture in the past couple decades. Lifting with your legs, not your back, right? Everyone knows what that statement is. So return Tiger to Mountain means if you have to carry the tiger, brace Tiger, return to Mountain to go up, you're lifting your legs. From a martial arts standpoint, the idea is if somebody is kicking or there's a weapon that's coming to this, when we're doing, let's see, something else, is we're here, and we're going to launch it using the legs and the spine as a structural member. We'll come back to that when there's a second person, because it's difficult to demonstrate, not even if I have a stick, maybe with a second person holding a stick. So after we return tiger to mountain, what happens? I'm facing this direction, and we have the hands crossed, right? We have right, left on top. Once these come up, if we're closing the form from here, this just continues to roll, like a rolling block, like we have in the part of the form where we split and roll up this way. The same thing. After we return tiger to mountain, this can just roll before it becomes the punches. But when we continue, after we return tiger to mountain, these hands also continue on this arc. So the left hand comes up and goes right over top of the head, right? One of the ideas for this is that somebody is grabbing your hair from behind you. So if I'm here minding my business and somebody grabs my hair, right? I have a lot of hair. So martial artists, when they see a lot of hair like this, they think, oh, I can grab that and hold on to it. So when they grab a hold like this, we want to try to get the first hand under theirs, right? We can't avoid, they've already made contact. So the first thing we want to do is create the distance. And if their hand is here, holding on like this, we want to try to get our hand in between. My hair is not a great example because I have dreadlocks, but if you have loose hair, even if somebody's holding on, you can wedge your other fingers in between, right? So we're going to get our hand directly on our scalp. That's the first one, is separate the opponent's grip from our head. And then the second one, right? So I've done return tiger to mountain. As I shift to this side, this hand is going. And I'm, remember, sliding that up. And then when this foot comes in, I'm going to form a T, and this other hand is going to come on top. So if they're holding on and I get one hand underneath and my other hand on top, now their hand is trapped up there. They can't move. And I can turn freely, holding on to securing their wrist, and then do what I like to do, right? We'll go into that more later. That's the martial application we'll go into later. But the transition, for now, once we return to tiger to mountain, bring your left foot to the right, and the hand goes on top of the head. Then we're going to take a T-step. So just as if one foot is being placed right in front of the other in the shape of a T, and the other hand goes on top. Maintain your center line, and then that right foot steps all the way back to the corner. And the arms unwind to almost a regular type press. But there's a different dynamic that's happening. This one has a unique press. How many here are familiar with a drum brake, not a disc brake. A disc brake grasps like this. But a drum brake is a cylinder, and it has a piece that expands up against the inside of the drum. So I don't know if my shadow, if you can see my shadow, it's not quite as good in the video as I would like. Let's see, can I use this? The idea is that this movement isn't a press. This is a pretty beginner movement. It's when you see people do return tiger to mountain and they're trying to do this. This one is a press that has an upwards movement, right? So actually maybe I can use a chair. Right? The idea is, if this is my opponent's chest, right? I'm going to make them taller opponent. Is when I'm turning, they're connected to me here. When I turn, this palm is coming up. It's not a direct thrust. So we want to maintain all of this momentum for that thrust. And this is a pretty gnarly one. As a general rule of thumb, we don't want to strike upwards on the body. Generally, we think of the energy moving down. So when we massage the body, we massage it down. But if you make energy and a channel go up that is supposed to go down can be very dangerous for the other person. So I get a lot of calls from people that want to know about the acupuncture danger points. They want to know about the deadly. So anything can be dangerous. Let's turn. Turning body, warning palm. The name for this in the Mandarin is chuyển身看掌. So this means turning body. Xuan, the shen is your body. And then the name for this is the same as when we have lo shi kan shang. It's warning palm. It's the same, but it's a different style of press as opposed to brush knee press this way. Let's continue. So after we turning body, warning palm, we go through the main course all the way. Turn back to look at the moon. We just covered this one a month or two ago, a few weeks ago. Repulse the monkey. We have talked about this more recently. Sherfei. We talked about this last week. Heidi Zhang, needle at the bottom of the sea. I think we covered that recently. We can go back to any of these if you have questions while you're practicing. The next one, Santong Bei, we have not talked about. So let's practice the section from turn back to look at the moon up to what we had just looked at. So let's see if we're doing the form. Okay. I have to check. Hook, turn back to look at the moon is this way. Repulse the monkey. By the way, when I've been using the terms north, facing north, and turning 90 degrees. When you're practicing, the direction that you start becomes an arbitrary north. So this is one of the things. Tai Chi is good for your entire life. You can use it to learn the Mandarin language. You can use it to learn yoga. You can use it to improve your cartography skills. So when I start the form, I say I'm starting north. And when I turn, that's west. Doesn't matter what the direction out in the world is. This is internal mapping so that you'll become better at finding your way. You'll become better at keeping your way. Let's continue where we were. I have to actually play through. Roll back, hook, turn. I actually have to just do the form. So return tiger to mount. Turning body, warning palm, press. Roll back. Push. Look left, glance right. Double press. Split. Hook. Turn back to look at the moon. Okay, we're facing this way. Repulse the monkey. 1, 2, 3. Sherfei is opening. Shoulder bump. Ward off to the corner. Needle at the bottom of the sea. Santong Bei. This is the one I want to talk about, but let's continue. From here, we're going to step on the left foot, turn 180, block, punch, and kick. Square step. Lan. Shui. Keep your head top up. Di Bu Hua. Change step. We return to the main course. This is rollback. Press. Push. Look left. That's right. Double press. Horizontal split hands. Hook. Side whip. Cloud hands right and left. Right and left. Number 2. Right and left. Number 3. We have hook. We turn 90 degrees to the west. Next is Gao Tan Ma. We're going to come back to that one because it's more challenging to do. Let's actually do that section, that small section again that we had just talked about. So from turn back to look at the moon, if I'm facing west, my north was in that direction, and so facing west, turn back to look at the moon, repulse the monkey. Do we remember keeping the hands in the vision so that this hand isn't way back here, but we see press. Scooping with the right hand, the left hand comes in to replace. Avoid, make contact, advance. Avoid, make contact, advance. In the form, there's only 3. You can continue as needed. At one point, when your right hand is out, close, Sherfei, expanding. This movement from this ward off is one continuous spiral down to the bottom. So earlier we did this exercise where we reach and press, reach and press. This is a great Qigong. You can practice anytime, by the way. The idea is that after I do my shoulder bump and this type of ward off, watch this hand. The shape is one continuous shape to the needle at the bottom of the C. So in the when we practice the form here, we say Sherfei A, Sherfei B, Sherfei C. Now we're doing Hai Di Zhang. But this shoulder bump goes right into one, into the next one, into the next one. So, fan through back. We have needle at the bottom of the C. From here, square step forward. This right hand is coming up through the center, and my left hand coming underneath to replace. So this one, if you want to make sure that you're doing it 100% accurately, you can put your right foot against the wall. Put your left foot, you can do shoulder width wide if you like. Put it shoulder width deep or deeper for if you like to do a type of stretch. Push your head top up, and you're going to turn your spine this way. And then simply bring this hand back over the top. Press your ribs against the wall, right? That's a technique for sort of the shape that we should be in for needle at the bottom of the C. So my right steps forward, my right hand is blocking, press. Let's actually see if that's correct. Let's go back again from turn back to look at the moon. Scoop, repulse the monkey 1, repulse the monkey 2, repulse the monkey number 3. Sherfei, 1, 2, 3. Hai Di Zhang, needle at the bottom of the C, San Tombe. It's my left foot forward. So if you were to do that, you put your left foot forward here, turn, reach across. San Tombe is a fantastic boxing technique. You have one hand and it's moving something out of the way so that you can press underneath it. It's sort of a one-dimensional, it's two-dimensional variation of, in the third section, we have something called 4 corners, which is a sort of 3D variation of this 2D variation. So the concept is, imagine I'm from needle to bottom of the C, that I have an opponent in front of me, and they're here. I want to clear and move their arms out of the way and press under the ribs somewhere to the center this way. So, and then after I press, I have another opponent from behind me. So I'm going to turn my foot, and my hand's naturally falling into. If you see videos of TC doing this, I make a big circle. So here, like this. It's stylized. TC didn't do that. TC's version was a little different for block, punch, kick, right? But there's some Tai Chi schools, you may see them, they make sometimes very exaggerated, very funny one, right? This, after the press, the idea is we're turning, we want to block to protect ourselves, and we're drawing this in. Fen Shen Pi Shen Shui. Very much like in the first section, we have, after our brush knee press, we have holding the moon in the chest. This one has a step with this type of rolling punch. In the second one, what we're practicing here at Fen Shen Pi Shen Shui, there's no step. It's a block and a kick. So embrace the moon is here. This one we have to be more balanced and deliver the power with the balance. Before we continue, anyone have questions, thoughts? Go ahead.
Brian, do you know in Sun Tai Chi, there are a couple of sections where you do a very similar turn, and then you're stretching out and fists out. And I was just noticing the other day, when Master Yun does that turn, that feels so similar to what we're doing here. Instead of the arms circling up, they go down and over like that. Would there be, and I don't really understand the application in either case. I think in our Yang Tai Chi, what you're trying to imagine is that you're throwing a body over, right?
This one is also good if you have an opponent, because fan through back can be connected to Fen Shen Pi Shen Shui, right? Block, punch, kick. So Fen Shen Pi Shen Shui is this one movement has all that big name. So Santong Bei is here. What I'm imagining is I've either landed my strike or I haven't, and either it's the same opponent or another opponent, and when I turn, I have this area covered, I have a block, or this could turn into a strike if I want, right? Block, strike. So in the form, you're practicing something sort of stylized. Let's go back to what you said. You had seen somebody else doing a movement that's very similar. And one way to think about this is imagine, everyone here knows, most people looking at this class, Americans, so we know about car culture. So imagine you have one car manufacturer and they're in Europe, and you have another car manufacturer and they're in Asia, you have another one in the United States, and you have another one in South America, somewhere else. And the one car manufacturer starts putting a button for their windows that when you hit it once, it just drops just a little bit, and then when you hit it again, it goes all the way down. And then you see later the European manufacturer now has an extra little button. You hit the button once and it just drops a bit, and then you hit it again and it drops all the way. This is a change from when you had to have a turn, right, to turn your window up and down, for old people that remember that. This is the same with Tai Chi. You have one guy that's been working on his technique for 10 years, and he says, I prefer my Santong Bei to be more horizontal, this way. You have another practitioner, right? Maybe he's shorter guy, taller guy, and he says, because I'm down here, I like to make sure that I have my space here. They're protecting something different. The Tai Chi applications don't have any, there's no set. You can go read a book of what Sun Lutan says this is what this meaning is, and you can go read a book to see what T.C. Ho and Aaron Scott think about this movement. You can watch a video here, but ultimately you make the movement. The posture, one thing I want to remind everybody, when we're doing all of these things, okay, this is the challenging part. This is what turns Tai Chi into the meditation of perfection, is you want to be keeping your head top up, chin tucked, tongue on the roof of the mouth, lifting the base of the torso, gripping the toes. Keep your tailbone tucked. Space in the armpits, half smile, minimum, through every point of every phase of every posture. How you apply it, whatever your imagination can come up with. Is that more clear? Does that make it more clear?
I think so. I mean, I guess I was starting to question. I was I thought I was remembering that we talked about this potentially being a throw, but when I bring my arms up like this overhead, I've been wondering, does that basically involve exposing too much of your gait? You know, if you're have this big circle.
Yeah. It also, exposure can be okay with control. It's sort of like when you go to invest money. If you are investing your primary budget into a volatile investment, it's dangerous. But if you have your controlled amount that you like to put into the volatile investment, it's 100% safe. You're prepared to deal with that as it changes. So the same here is when I reach, I know in my mind what's happening with my opponent. I'm reaching under the rib cage, or they're very tall. I'm actually reaching into the armpit. If I'm dealing with a shorter opponent, I may make this circle. Let me face the other direction so you can see, right? So instead of, if I had to deal with something up here, I can't say, oh, I gotta protect, I have to deal with it, right? And I may offset it or try to use gravity, something. But I may also, from fan through back, just turn here. Let me do that movement, right? So needle at the bottom of the C, fan through back, right? This also has to do with frame. So I'm trying to teach you how to read and write Tai Chi. And your frame, if this is a large frame, I'm Happy Bear, and I do grasp the sparrow's tail, ward off, right? Grasp the sparrow's tail, ward off. Like imagine the door frame, instead of just being this wide, kind of a normal size, we double it. Like for like a refrigerator, they have sometimes a very big door. We can also practice when we're injured, right? We have something wrong, and we go, okay, grasp the sparrow's tail, ward off. Grasp the sparrow's tail, ward off. Oh, my foot hurts, right? Something. That frame is very small, like a cat door. It's only this big. Both working, right? They're both acceptable. But for what purpose? If you like to go to the competition, the world competition where everybody comes to see who's the best, and you do a small frame like this, maybe, if you're a wizard, you can do it. You can impress everybody because you have it. You practice, you know. And if you go to impress the world and you do Tai Chi like this, they're going to laugh. I would. I mean, I hope. Unless you're some kind of dragon. So maybe that's the case. The purpose is these masters have codified these these forms, and you can use the Tai Chi form for anything that you like. Boxing, martial arts. My teacher, TC, this is a direct quote from TC. He said, you can use the Tai Chi form for anything you like. So with that, let's actually wrap up. We've got another class, and it will probably start right at noon. And we can, before we go into the sort of regular thing, we can talk about Santong Bei while we have another person here. Because that will be much more useful to see. And this is, by the way, it's one of those ones that's very simple, and it's just sort of buried somewhere back there. It's not as exciting as turn back to look at the moon and cloud hands. But even in the Pigua Chuan, right, we have Santong Bei existing, right, in higher Kung Fu as well. It's a very simple movement, very effective boxing technique. Let's do some Qigong to close. Take a nice, comfortable step. One teacher used to say, imagine you have heavy weight, like you're carrying a cannonball on each side, so that your arms are in the shape, and they're sprung, but they're relaxed. And then turning. Turn the forearms. Try to keep your palms level to the sky. Keep your spine straight. Is your tongue connected to your upper palate? Are you breathing properly? Are you lifting the base of the torso while you breathe? And then, with all of this breathing and relaxation, Add something else. Imagine the best possible outcome for your class. Imagine the best possible outcome for your day, Saturday. Imagine the best possible outcome for your weekend, for your week, and for your life. Practice at your own speed. You can do this one quickly. You can also do this one slowly. Balance it out on both sides. Once you feel like you've finished, allow everything to return back to the center. Take a deep breath, bring your hands together in the center. So calibrate head, top, tongue, base of the torso, toes. And then, like a standing meditation, move your mind into your center, into your belly button, the center of your body. And turn your eyes inward as if you're looking at yourself from inside, breathing deep. Keep your tongue connected to the upper palate. Take a second to smile at yourself. And then internally, have your gratitude practice. You can give thanks to yourself, your chi, your mind, your energy, spirit, anything you like. And then imagine all of the energy, all of the information from class gets absorbed right to the center. Take one long, last, deep breath. That's it for this class. I will send a link via email and phone text in a second for the next class, and I will just start it as soon as I can. So give me about 5 minutes. I think it's we'll start it right around noon. So if you want to join back up once you get that email, have a great weekend.